Hello and welcome to Rudy's Retro Intel. On today's show, we'll be looking at my PET 4032. It's having a problem where the screen is wiggling and I need to figure what's going on. It's not happening all the time, but it's enough to be annoying. So let's peek inside, poke around. With the board pulled out of the PET, we're going to take a look to see what's going on and figure out why the video is shaking a bit. It's wobbling. So what we do, or what we can do now, is pull the board out of the PET and work on the bench. And there's a lip underneath the PET, so you can run the wires through. So what I've done is I run the power underneath so I can actually bring the board out. Now, the problem is, how do I get video if the video is not plugged in? The monitor's not plugged in anywhere. Well, this is where my newer board is coming soon. This is called the PET Companion board. And what this allows us to do is to give composite out and audio out. Now, the new board that will be coming soon, let's zoom that in a bit. The new board that's coming in soon is also going to have RGB to HDMI adapter, so you can actually plug that in directly from your monitor, your RGB to HDMI adapter into the PET, and then get HDMI video out. This, however, is just for composite out and audio out. It's a very simple circuit. I'll be explaining more in another video, but in this one I want to use this to get video from the board so we can work on it outside the case, which makes it easier because the case has a lid that pops up and down and more difficult to do. This requires 5 volts, so it's pulling off 5 volts from the tape port. So let's hook it up and check out the video. Alright, so now we're going to do the next thing. We're going to plug this unit. It goes into the user port, which sits right here. This is the IEEE port. This is the user port, and down here is the tape port. So let's plug that into the tape port. And what we do next is we can plug in our audio and video. Plug that in there. And this is labeled. And then what I'm going to do is bring my monitor over a little bit so you can see it. I'm going to zoom out so we can get a better view of what's going on here. Hopefully it'll come out nice. And power on. Let's turn our monitor on. That would help diagnose the problem. And I'm getting video here. I'm not sure if it's how well I can get this onto the camera. So there is video showing up now. So I can work on this board, having it out of the PET, do whatever work I need to do, verify it's all work, and then put it back in the PET. Now in this video we want to look at the wobbling of the video. It is happening here now. It's very slight. It usually happens once it's warmed up for a while. So the area of interest is actually down here. Let's zoom in a bit, and there we go. So this section is the timing. Is a timing section for the PET. Generally, when you have a screen that's wobbling, it could be a couple of things. It could be something going on in the monitor. It could be something going on the board. And in this case, I believe the problem is right here because I'm still getting it on the monitor itself. So this box is a little metal box that opens up. And inside we have a 74LS IC crystal, which is 16 megahertz, a couple of resistors, diodes, and a capacitor. So generally what I've found is that there's a problem either with the capacitor, the crystal, or the IC. Now this IC is in a socket, so what I think is best to do right now, just to rule out a few things, let's pull that IC out, give the socket a nice little clean, and then put things back, and then we'll let it go from there. All right, next we're gonna pull out this IC and give it a good cleaning inside. Wow, that chip went flying across the room. Yikes. Okay, good thing I'll find it, but good thing I have spares. Anyway, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take some deoxit and just, give it a good clean. These sockets that come with the PET are very cheap. They're single wipe, so they can get dirty, they can get stretched, they can go bad. And if this doesn't fix it, I'm going to check the capacitor, which is back here, the yellow piece there. Check the frequency on the crystal. However, I think this is going to be getting no picture, but I'll be checking all those components. But the first thing I want to do is clean the socket and put the chip in. So let's give it a squirt. All right. With the deoxit sprayed in, I'm going to let it just sit a second, and I'm going to put in a new chip. But the legs on this one here are spread out a bit more when they come brand new, and I want to put this in because the socket could be, because they're single wipe and they're really cheap, these ones, the pins could be pressed out, so they're not making good contact. So I want to put this one in, and then we'll give it a try. Hopefully that fixes the problem. If not, the next thing would be to check the frequency of this crystal and the little yellow capacitor right there. This is the C92, which is a 220 picofarad capacitor, and the crystal is a 16 megahertz. So in the meantime, let's put this in and give it a whirl. All right, the chip is now in, so let me zoom out, and we'll take a better look on the monitor itself. So let's adjust our camera here a bit. Pardon the I'm clicking the mouse here. My camera doesn't do easy scrolling, zoom out, zoom in, all that goodness. I need to buy a new camera, but for now this is good. Let's plug everything back in and turn it on. So the power's plugged in, and let's see what we get. This monitor, I gotta turn on it. These yo-yo monitors are good monitors. The problem with this one is the timer shuts off and you can't adjust the timer. As we're getting picture, so that's good. We haven't broken anything. The question now is this a fix? Well, I don't know until we let it run for a while. This usually shows up after a while it's been warm. So now I'm going to let this sit for a while, and then if it's looked good, we're going to put it back in the PET and then see if we're still getting that wiggling or wobbling, shaking of the video. Because if we are still getting it, then the problem is something in the monitor itself, not the main board. But so far this is good, and let's let it run, and I'll cut back to this in a bit. Well, that's it for our show for today. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this quick little video on the repair on that Commodore PET 4032, where the screen is wiggling a bit. It seems fine now, but I'll have to let it run for a few hours before I can say yes, it's a success, or we have to do more troubleshooting. If more troubleshooting is required, I'll make another video and post it up for you guys to see what we do next. Also, hopefully you enjoyed and excited about seeing this new board I've created called the Commodore PET Companion. It has composite out, audio out, and it basically a simple little board, and it's based on schematics from the late 70s, 79 and 80. It basically plugs into the the user port, and it has a adapter for the tape port, which grabs the 5 volts, as opposed to having an external adapter to do that. The next board will be coming out in December. Be coming out or probably the first weekend of December, and I'll be showing it off at the World of Commodore in Toronto 2023 at the Admiral Inn, and more details will be provided at the TPUG website. Just search TPUG and Commodore TPUG, and the World of Commodore will pop up. The new board is basically this board here. It's the same as the existing board. It's just that the new board now has RGB to HDMI, which that means you can then take your RGB to HDMI adapter. Here's mine. You take the cable from this and you plug it into your port on here, and then you'll be able to get a video on your RGB monitor, television, projector, whatever you want that's RGB HDMI compatible. And this is I think it'd be a fun tool, a fun board, toy, whatever you want to call it, to have. It allows us, as you saw, we can actually pull the board out of the PET, put on our bench, do our repairs or fixes, and then put it back without having to put it in, turn on the monitor on and off, or the computer on and off, which turns the monitor on and off, which is not great because these things are getting old and we need to preserve them. So by using this with your composite monitor or HDMI, we're actually saving the internal monitor from the constant powering on and off, and increasing longevity. So look forward to a future video on this, on the new board. We'll do a build, we'll do a demo of it, and go over the manual, show you what other features it has and what we can do with it. The great thing is that you can use it for doing diagnostics like we did today and help with your repairs. Or you can, once you're done, you can just leave it in and use the external monitor, or if you don't want to use an external monitor, just leave the audio port plugged in, and you can get sound out of your games like Space Invaders and all the bunch of new games that have already come out for the PET. So I want to thank you for watching the show. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all my new subscribers and current subscribers, and a big thanks to all the Patreon members that are helping me financially with this channel to get more parts, upgrade my microphone and camera, and bring more vintage tech to the channel for you to enjoy and for us to share together. Well, that's it for now. Take care.